Commander Jake Morrison paced the length of the command bridge aboard Galactic Defense Station Titan 7, a steaming mug of coffee warming his hand. The rising vapor curled in the recycled chill of the station's air system, always too cold, always making the place feel like a steel coffin adrift in deep space. He paused by the observation window, taking in the vast emptiness broken only by scattered starlight. After 3 years of uninterrupted peace, routine had dulled to monotony, but Morrison knew that monotony beat bloodshed any day. Lieutenant. Amy Torres manned the sensor array, fingers gliding swiftly across glowing input panels as columns of data scrolled across multiple displays. Her instruments probed outward into the silent expanse, scanning the neutral corridor between human and Zalkari territory. For months, the data had been static, repetitive echoes of dust and stray radiation. Nothing moved in that part of space. Chief Navigation Officer Ben Carter checked the assigned patrol patterns for a third time, reviewing the same pre-programmed flight paths humanity had used since the ceasefire. Predictable. Safe. Exactly how Earth's leadership preferred it. Privately, Carter missed the adrenaline of wartime operations, but he'd never admit that aloud, not with the memories of lost comrades still fresh. Communications Officer Lisa Grant sat with her headset on, scanning the usual frequencies. Her job was to monitor for distress signals or routine check-ins from civilian transports. Trade had flourished since the treaty, with vessels shuttling between human colonies and alien worlds that once exchanged plasma fire. Most of what came through her console were status reports, cargo tallies, and environmental logs. The morning unfolded with the quiet, steady rhythm that had become their norm. Jake flipped through supply manifests while Amy initiated extended scans of the outer perimeter and Ben made minor course adjustments. Lisa continued filtering through message, traffic. Together they maintained order on their quiet stretch of galactic space. Then Amy froze. Her posture stiffened mid-motion, her fingers hovering over the panel, eyes fixed on her screen, unreadable tension etched across her face. Jake looked up, pausing mid-sip. The mug hung motionless in his hand. "Commander, I've got an anomalous contact," she said without blinking. "Something's coming in fast, too fast." Jake lowered his coffee and stepped beside her. The sensor display pulsed with a singular contact icon accelerating toward them. The numbers didn't compute. The velocity was beyond absurd, outside the scope of anything known. "Is that accurate?" Jake asked, squinting at the raw data. Amy reinitialized the sweep, and the system returned the same results. "Yes, sir. The readings are consistent. The object is inbound, approaching at a velocity 47 times greater than our fastest ships." Ben Carter left his station and joined them, his expression draining of color. "Commander," he said quietly, eyes locked on the display. "At that speed, any ship would be ripped apart. That's beyond what any hull can." A tight chill coiled in Jake's gut. "Any ID codes? Transponder signals?" Amy's fingers moved rapidly across her console. "Nothing, sir. It's not broadcasting anything. I've checked every ship registry we have. This thing isn't in any of them." Lisa Grant had been monitoring from her station and turned toward them, her face pale with concern. "Commander, it's not responding to standard hails. No acknowledgement at all." Jake returned to his command chair and toggled the station-wide intercom. His voice echoed through the metal bones of Titan 7. "All personnel, this is Commander Morrison. We have an unidentified vessel approaching our position. All crew report to stations and prepare for potential contact." The bridge snapped into action. Crew members flooded into secondary posts, activating systems long dormant in peaceful times. Tactical Officer Danny Walsh slid into his seat, running diagnostics on the weapons array. Engineering Supervisor Carol Hunt linked into Titan 7's energy grid, ensuring full power reserves were at the station's command. Meanwhile, Amy's data feeds only grew more unsettling. Sir, this ship, its structure isn't human, and it doesn't match any Zalkari design either. Jake frowned. What about the other species we're in contact with? Ben Carter had already pulled up the comparative scans. He looked up slowly, face grim. I've run the readings against every known ship class, every database we've got. This vessel doesn't match anything. It's completely unknown. On screen, the object continued its impossible path. It wasn't slowing. It cruised forward as if inertia didn't apply, gliding at impossible speeds with zero strain. Whatever it was, its propulsion system defied everything the known galaxy understood about physics. Lisa cycled through communication protocols, standard, emergency, diplomatic, even ancient ones. Still nothing, Commander. It's either unable to hear us or choosing not to respond. Jake's eyes narrowed as he studied the red dot on the tactical display. It crawled closer, unbothered, uncaring. In 15 minutes, they'd have visual contact. In 30, it would reach the station. Danny, Jake said, his voice steady, bring defense systems online. Don't target, just prep them. Carol, I want power systems fully charged and standing by. Amy, keep eyes on that ship. Any change, you tell me immediately. The crew responded with calm precision, their professionalism masking the tension building beneath the surface. What had started as just another quiet patrol was quickly becoming the most consequential moment of their service. Jake Morrison understood it clearly. Whatever that vessel was, its arrival could change everything humanity knew about the galaxy. The unidentified object slowed abruptly as it crossed the outer perimeter of Titan 7. The crew collectively held, their breath, watching as the unknown ship came to a halt just beyond their main sensor range. Minutes passed in uneasy silence. Amy kept scanning, frustration etched into her brow. Sir, this is bizarre. The hull is composed of materials we don't recognize, and the energy signatures, there's nothing in our records remotely close. Danny's hands hovered over the firing controls. Though Jake hadn't given the order to target, the systems remained active, primed, but restrained. Everyone aboard knew what was at stake. A single miscalculation could ignite a war humanity wasn't ready to fight. Then the ship moved. Without warning, holograms burst into existence across the station. They bypassed every firewall, every defense system, as though those protections were irrelevant. On the bridge, a life-sized human figure materialized in front of Commander Jake Morrison. The man looked to be in his 40s, with short-cropped brown hair and eyes burdened by something ancient and heavy. His uniform was similar to human military issue, yet unmistakably different. Wrong in ways hard to define. Greetings, station. Titan 7, the projection said, his voice calm and unnervingly clear. We are the crew of the independent vessel Nightfall. We've been observing your situation with the Zalkari, and we're here to warn you. Something is coming. Jake stared, stunned. Technology this advanced, holograms transmitted through walls with such precision, was well beyond anything in humanity's arsenal. Who are you, and how did you penetrate our security? Jake demanded. The figure gave a slight smile, devoid of warmth. I am Captain Ryan Blake. My ship has operated in this sector for several months. Your security was built to stop familiar threats. We don't use familiar methods. Ben Carter had been scanning the station's systems and now looked up, visibly unsettled. Commander, the holograms are everywhere. Every deck. No sign of external transmission, no recorded access breach. Captain Blake nodded, unsurprised. Your tech is impressive, by the galaxy's standards. But some of us never stopped pushing beyond what your treaties allowed. Lisa Grant was furiously scanning for any trace of the signal's origin. Sir, this doesn't make sense. It's not coming from anywhere specific. It's everywhere at once. A hard weight settled in Jake's chest. Independent vessel? That's not possible. No human ship operates outside galactic command. Authority. Every vessel answers to Earth, military or colonial. Blake's face darkened. He stepped closer, though still just a projection. We are what you'd call a contingency. While your leaders signed treaties and played diplomat, some of us prepared for what truly lies ahead. Suddenly, Amy gasped at her console. New readings flashed across her sensors. Bizarre, impossible spikes. Commander, we're detecting massive energy buildups across Zalkari fleet locations. They're not mobilizing, they're charging weapons, systems we've never seen before. Captain Blake turned to her. Lieutenant Torres, your scans are finally catching what's been cloaked for months. The Zalkari never wanted peace. The ceasefire was cover. They've spent the past 3 years surrounding your colonies and outposts with their real fleet. The hum of the life support system filled the silence. Jake's pulse hammered. The foundations of everything he believed in cracked beneath Blake's words. What are you talking about? He asked. Our intelligence monitors Zalkari movements. They've respected every boundary. Blake raised a hand, and Titan VII's main tactical screen flickered, then changed. The bridge crew collectively recoiled as the new data came into focus. Hundreds of Zalkari warships blinked into view, occupying spaces that were supposed to be empty. The updated readings showed a terrifying formation. Enemy ships encircling human colonies and slicing through major trade routes. This was not positioning. It was entrapment. This can't be real, Ben Carter muttered. Ben Carter whispered in disbelief as he stared at the red-marked fleet formations. There's no way. Our deep space monitors would have seen movements like this. A fleet that size would need weeks to reach those locations. Before Jake could respond, another figure appeared beside Captain Blake. A woman, wearing the same unrecognized uniform, stood with the posture of someone hardened by command. The Zalkari developed subspace cloaking years ago, Commander Carter, she said. Every diplomatic session, every trade mission, every peace summit, they used it all to mask a full-scale deployment. Blake gestured toward her. This is Commander Rachel Stone, my second-in-command. She's been tracking the Zalkari fleet for 2 years. While your official intelligence watched empty space, we followed the shadows. Danny Walsh spoke up, pale with sweat. Sir, 17 human colonies are transmitting distress calls. I'm watching them blink out, one after another. Commander Stone transmitted tactical overlays that flooded every bridge console. Zalkari weapons use quantum disruption tech. Your standard shields won't even register a hit. The colonies are being wiped out before they can respond. Jake Morrison stood frozen, the full scope of the betrayal settling on him like a crushing weight. Everything he believed in, about peace, about security, was unraveling. Humanity had been played. Captain Blake stepped closer, eyes cold with urgency. The question now, Commander, is whether you're ready to see what humanity becomes when we stop playing by the galaxy's rules. He raised a hand, and every tactical screen on Titan VII lit up again. Now they showed enemy fleets, entire armadas that had previously been invisible to all known sensor arrays. Hundreds of Zalkari warships surrounded every major human world like predators encircling prey. Jake felt the blood drain from his face. How many ships are we seeing? How long have they been there? Commander Stone answered. Our estimates put the invasion force at over 800 vessels. They've surrounded 43 human colonies and trade hubs. Some have been embedded in subspace pockets for more than 6 months. Amy Torres worked frantically at her station. Commander, I'm now seeing subspace distortions, cloaking fields that were masking their presence. But our systems should have detected something like this. Blake's expression hardened. Lieutenant, their cloaking isn't conventional. They use quantum phase shifting, displacing their ships partially outside normal spacetime. Your sensors were scanning the right coordinates, just not the right dimension. Ben Carter looked up, eyes wide with horror. These positions are tactically perfect. They could launch simultaneous strikes on every major colony. And our defense fleets are scattered, Blake finished grimly. Another figure materialized on the bridge. Like the others, he wore the unfamiliar uniform, his lean build suggesting years in zero-G. His eyes were sharp, alert, and tired. Major Kevin Ross, Blake said. Our tactical intelligence chief. He's been analyzing Zalk-Kari combat doctrine and capabilities for 18 months. Ross stepped forward, voice crisp and direct. Their fleet is armed with quantum disruption cannons. These weapons shred human armor as if it were tissue. Worse, many of their ships are fitted with planet killers. One shot can glass a world. Danny's voice cracked. Sir, our station defenses can't take a hit like that. Not even one. Lisa Grant spun in her chair, eyes haunted. Commander, I'm receiving distress calls from 12 colonies. They're under attack. Civilians. They're being annihilated. The bridge went silent as screaming voices poured from the speakers. Emergency calls, static-choked pleas, cities falling, fleets burning, death. Commander Stone shared another layer of intelligence. One final, brutal truth. Every peace talk, every agreement, it was all misdirection. While your leaders watched shadows, the enemy moved into place. Jake clenched his fists, rage building like a furnace. Humanity hadn't just been caught off guard. They'd been expertly betrayed. How long have you known? Jake demanded. And why didn't you warn Earth Command? Captain Blake's hologram pulsed slightly, gaining an uncanny density, as though his rising emotion made the image more real. We tried, Commander Morrison, he said. We sent reports, warnings, analyses, but they were ignored, dismissed as fear-mongering. The politicians were so desperate for peace, they refused to see the war forming right in front of them. Major Ross brought up a new set of tactical displays. Red zones lit up across human space, colonies under siege. Yellow markers flashed, where enemy fleets advanced. It was the largest, most coordinated assault humanity had ever faced. They don't want to beat us, Ross said quietly. They want to wipe us out, completely, before we can develop the technologies that might one day threaten their empire. Amy Torres was still analyzing the enemy firepower. Her eyes widened with a spark of hope. Commander, I've identified a charge cycle in their quantum disruption. Cannons. It creates temporary windows, moments when the weapons are vulnerable. If we hit at the right time, we might be able to damage them. Blake nodded, clearly impressed. Excellent work, Lieutenant. That's the mindset we'll need. Going forward, precise, adaptive, relentless. Ben Carter looked up from navigation, eyes narrowing in disbelief. Captain Blake, you talk like there's a way to resist this. But how? They have over 800 warships. We barely have 200 scattered across 50 systems. For the first time since her appearance, Commander Stone smiled. Commander Carter, she said, you're thinking in terms of what's publicly acknowledged, the fleets on the books, in the news, in the official channels. Captain Blake took a step toward Jake, his voice rising with carefully restrained excitement. What if I told you the Earth Defense Fleet is only a fraction of what humanity's truly capable of? The bridge went dead silent. Jake stared at Blake, heart thudding. You're saying there are military forces even Earth Command doesn't know about? Blake's smile turned sharp, almost predatory. What I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about our species. Major Ross began uploading a new tactical feed into Titan VII systems. Commander Stone activated another holographic projection. The crew stared in stunned silence as impossible data began appearing on their screens. Dozens of new fleet designations, energy readings beyond known parameters. Welcome to the Shadow Fleet, Blake said as humanity's hidden strength began to unfold. He raised one hand, and the space outside Titan VII distorted, rippling like the surface of heated metal. Jake turned toward the viewing glass and froze. Shapes emerged from what had moments ago been nothing but open space. Dozens of ships, decloaking. One by one they revealed themselves, each more unreal than the last. The hulls shimmered with a reactive alloy that seemed to swallow and refract light. Their forms blended human engineering with something unmistakably alien, sleek, brutal, graceful. They were massive, larger than any standard human cruiser, but moved like predators. Amy's voice came, barely above a whisper. "Commander, I'm reading over 300 ships, and more are still decloaking." Her sensor array flooded with energy signatures that, "These ships are beyond anything I've ever scanned," Amy said, her voice hushed. Commander Rachel Stone gestured toward the ever-growing fleet outside. "What you're seeing is only a fraction of the Shadow Fleet. We've been building it for over 50 years, while your official forces focused on diplomacy and surface-level peacekeeping." A new holographic figure appeared on the bridge. Her uniform marked her as a high-ranking officer, and her presence commanded silence. Silver-haired, eyes sharp with the weight of long battle, she radiated hardened authority. "This is Admiral Kate Phillips," Captain Blake said. "She's led the Shadow Fleet since its inception." Admiral Phillips stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension. "Commander Morrison, your station is now under Shadow Fleet protection. Operation Last Stand is active. It's time the Zalkari learn why they should have honored their treaties." Jake glanced at the vessels, forming outside Titan VII, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. "Admiral, how could Earth Command not know about this? A fleet of this scale. Where did the resources come from?" She gave a knowing smile. "Every lost exploration mission, every failed colony, every ship that vanished in deep space. We weren't losing them. We were repurposing them. The galaxy believed them gone. In reality, they helped build our true defense." Ben Carter, still running scans, looked up in disbelief. "Commander, these ships operate on principles we don't even understand. Propulsion, weapons, shields, it's all alien." Major Ross materialized beside Admiral Phillips, taking over. "For 50 years, we reverse-engineered every alien tech we could get, through trade, salvage, or espionage. Then we pushed it further using human innovation. This fleet is the result." A massive vessel appeared near the center of the formation, towering, lethal, beautiful. Jake's breath caught. "That's my flagship," Admiral Phillips said, noticing his stare. "Horizon's Edge. She's equipped to destroy worlds and shield herself from quantum disruption cannons." Danny Walsh glanced up, overwhelmed. "Sir, the power output from just one of these ships dwarfs the entire station." Another hologram joined them, Chief Engineer Dan Murphy. "We integrated Zalkari subspace architecture, Andromedan shielding, and Century quantum drives. Then we enhanced it all with human adaptive systems. The result is something entirely new." Lisa Grant turned sharply. "Admiral, we're receiving emergency calls from 12 star systems. The Zalkari are escalating. Our colonies need help now." Admiral Phillips nodded grimly. "Shadow Fleet, this is Admiral Phillips. Initiate Operation Last Stand. Show the galaxy what humanity becomes when we stop pretending to be weak." Outside, Titan VII was engulfed in movement. Hundreds of ships surged into action, accelerating with impossible grace. They vanished into subspace corridors, traveling faster than any known drive system should allow. Amy stared at her console in awe. "Commander, they're launching coordinated strikes across 43 star systems at once, and they're using communication tech that ignores light-speed delay." Captain Blake's face turned fierce. "The Zalkari's mistake was believing the mask we wore was our limit. They never imagined we could evolve this far." In silence. Tactical displays across the station lit up. Shadow Fleet forces engaged the enemy with speed and force that defied conventional tactics. They phased in and out of visible space, struck from directions that shouldn't exist, and matched, then exceeded, the Zalkari in raw power. Ben Carter's voice shook with awe. They're not just surviving out there. They're winning. Admiral Phillips allowed herself a satisfied smile. The Zalkari spent years preparing their perfect ambush, but they planned around a version of humanity that no longer exists. Today, they pay for that mistake. Jake Morrison stood in stunned silence as everything Jake thought he knew about humanity's place in the galaxy had collapsed. The Shadow Fleet wasn't just powerful, it was transformative, a force capable of redrawing the lines of power between civilizations. The war that once seemed lost was rapidly becoming a showcase of superior human innovation. Battle reports flooded into Titan VII, each one more unbelievable than the last. Across 43 star systems, the once invincible Zalkari invasion force was being dismantled, methodically, mercilessly, by a fleet that officially didn't even exist. Their quantum disruption weapons, once feared, were outmatched by tech that made galactic science look primitive. Admiral Kate Phillips stood tall in the center of the bridge, bathed in light from flickering tactical displays. Maintain current attack vectors. Prepare to initiate Phase 2, she ordered calmly, directing the largest coordinated space battle in recorded history. Jake watched in stunned awe as Shadow Fleet ships vanished and reappeared, striking from unexpected angles, seemingly phasing through space itself. The Zalkari had been unstoppable until they met an enemy with weapons, tactics, and technology far beyond their understanding. Amy Torres tracked the sensor feeds and shook her head. Commander, they're not just winning, they're overwhelming the enemy. The Zalkari are trying to retreat, but we're chasing them through subspace corridors. Captain Blake's holographic form gave a nod of grim satisfaction. They made one fatal mistake, Lieutenant. They believed our military was limited to what we let them see. Major Ross materialized beside Blake, tapping into fleet intel. High-value Zalkari command ships are transmitting surrender codes, but their lower-tier vessels are still engaging. The breakdown in their chain of command is giving us a huge edge. Ben Carter had been reviewing the coordination patterns of the Shadow Fleet. His brow furrowed. Admiral, how are you syncing? Attacks across star systems like this? Real-time coordination over those distances is impossible. Chief Engineer Dan Murphy appeared beside him, his hologram radiating pride. Not with quantum entanglement communication. Every Shadow Fleet ship is connected to a central command array. Distance is irrelevant. Data doesn't travel. It simply is. Outside Titan VII, space bloomed with the true scale of humanity's hidden strength. Hundreds more ships decloaked, surrounding the station in formation. Jake counted over 500, each one distinct in size, role, and configuration, but all equipped with the same impossible systems. Lisa Grant turned suddenly pale, headphones pressed tight. Admiral, incoming message from Earth Command. It's marked top priority. She paused, then spoke again with a trembling voice. Effective immediately. You are granted emergency, authority over all human space forces. Admiral Phillips accepted it with a simple nod. I expected as much. She turned to Jake. Commander Morrison, your station is now our central operations hub. We'll integrate official fleets with Shadow Fleet assets. The era of secrecy ends now. Danny Walsh glanced up from the weapons console, still stunned. Admiral, how long has Earth Command really known about you? This kind of coordination, it couldn't have happened without approval. Captain Blake smirked faintly. The best-kept secrets are the ones so deeply buried that even the keepers don't know the whole truth. He looked toward Danny. Earth Command knew contingency. Plans existed, Captain Blake continued, but they were never informed of our full capability. Tactical displays updated again, showing the aftermath of the Zalkari offensive. Colonies that had been under siege mere hours ago now reported fleeing or surrendering enemy forces. What had begun as a genocidal invasion ended as a catastrophic failure for the Zalkari Empire. Commander Rachel Stone reappeared with the final operational report that left no doubt about the results of Operation Last Stand. All Zalkari invasion forces have been neutralized or captured. Confirmed losses: 647 enemy ships destroyed, 112 captured intact. Admiral Phillips then activated a galaxy-wide broadcast signal, transmitting her message to every major civilization. This is Admiral Kate Phillips of the Human Shadow Fleet. Today, the Zalkari Empire attempted to destroy humanity through treachery and surprise assault. They have learned, too late, that humanity is far more dangerous when underestimated. Jake Morrison felt the weight of those words. The entire galaxy had just witnessed a shift in power unlike anything in recorded history. Humanity had revealed weapons, strategies, and technology that placed them equal, or perhaps superior, to every known spacefaring species. Decades of carefully built diplomacy would now have to be entirely renegotiated. Amy Torres stared at her sensor data with growing alarm. "Commander, I'm detecting multiple fleet movements, Andromedan, Century, and Regilian naval forces approaching human borders. Intentions unknown." Major Ross analyzed the scans and spoke without hesitation. "Those aren't war fleets, Lieutenant. They're diplomatic escorts. Every major civilization is racing to rewrite their treaties with us. Before we decide, their threats too." Within 6 hours of the failed invasion, the Zalkari government issued a formal surrender. Ambassadors were dispatched to every human world, offering reparations and pleading for mercy. The same empire that had once plotted humanity's extermination now cowered in fear. Before departing, Captain Ryan Blake addressed the crew of Titan VII one final time. "The galaxy just learned what happens when humans say never again. We don't bluff, and we always come prepared to prove it." With that, his holographic image vanished, and the Nightfall prepared to return to its hidden base far out in uncharted regions of space. Admiral Phillips remained behind, now officially, tasked with merging the once-secret Shadow Fleet into Earth's public military.